Uncle Claude here, and as you know by now, George Foreman passed away at the age of 76 last night. A lot of us grew up watching this version of George Foreman, the lovable grill selling master. Um, but a lot of us that are a certain age know about this version of George Foreman, and he was the most menacing heavyweight champion of his era. And I remember, of course, the Mike Tysons of the late 80s and early 90s. Listen, he could not hang with the George Foreman of the early and mid 70s. He was a menacing champion, which is what made Muhammad Ali's upset of George Foreman when he was at the age of 24, his physical peak, even more impressive. Because if you saw what George Foreman did to Joe Frazier, you would have thought Muhammad Ali had no shot. George Foreman punished you, and he took pleasure in punishing you. He was not the grill-selling, smiling guy that he became. Back then, George Foreman was as brooding, as menacing, as nasty as it got in the heavyweight division. Now, obviously, in 74, he lost in Zaire to Muhammad Ali, the greatest of all time. And he never regained that title until much, much later. In fact, I remember his last fight against Jimmy Young where he lost. He went back home to Houston, Texas, and became a preacher. But then he went back into boxing, I believe in 87. And in 1994, he did the impossible. But I remember leading up to the fight, the press conference, he did predict that he would knock him out and he would not see it. And sure enough, he gave him a two-piece. And Michael Moorer was a wonderful fighter. It wasn't like he beat a chump. You look up Michael Moorer's career, you look up many of his fights, and you saw what he did to Evander Holyfield. Man, let me tell you. Oh, excuse me. I think I caught a cold, ladies and gentlemen. In fact, one of the great fights of the era was when Holyfield beat Foreman. And Holyfield even later explained that George Foreman hit him harder than any other heavyweight. And that's saying something. You saw all those fights that Holyfield fought. This is the Foreman many of us remember. And I remember also the great legendary Archie Moore was in his corner. Look him up when you get a chance, ladies and gentlemen. Man, to see him evolve over the years was just magnificent. And Mr. Foreman, you will be missed. And I want to thank you for all of the great memories, the grills, the laughter, even the brooding times when you were the menacing champ and then you became the people's champ. Rest in paradise, George Foreman. And thank you for a job well done. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Uncle Claude signing out. Take care, stay safe. God bless. And once again, rest in paradise, Mr. Foreman, and all the best to his family and his loved ones.